So hello guys and welcome back to my channel. Happy New Year. Thanks for all your support, and today we're going to be making Nigerian chicken stew with some eggs. So let's get started. Right now I have about 5 pieces of chicken thighs. You can use any poultry you like or different cuts of meat, soaked with some limes and water to remove the blood and excess feathers. And now I have some olive oil, salt, chicken seasoning, black pepper, all-purpose seasoning, some garlic powder, and some thyme. I'm fully aware that clip went by so quick and I do not know why. But as usual, in the description box, which many of you don't open, which I hope you open today, I have all the seasonings listed, as well as the measurements that I used. And I removed the skin because when you put chicken with skin in the oven, it gets crispy. And then when you add it to a heavy sauce like Nigerian stew or ketchup, any of those things, the skin becomes soggy and it just defeats the whole purpose and whole effort of making crispy skin. So I'm going to place this on my oven tray with parchment paper, and I'm going to place this in an oven for 200 degrees for 45 minutes. Now to form the base of the stew, I have 2 pointed peppers, 3 tantache, which is bell peppers in English, 3 rodo, which is scotch bonnet, and 2 onions, which I'm going to blend. And scotch bonnets are known for their incinerating heat, so please add these according to your heat preference, please, I beg. So now I have 2 tinto tomatoes, and I'm going to add them to the blender. You can use fresh tomatoes if you like, but fresh tomatoes are quite renowned for being bitter and I don't really like that, but if you prefer to, by all means go ahead. And it's important to note, the more bell peppers you add to your stew, the sweeter your stew will be, and the more tin tomatoes you add to your stew, the more bitter will be. And as you saw in the previous clip, I was showing the consistency of how the stew should be. It shouldn't be too thick for like Nigerian soups, and it shouldn't be too smooth as if you're making jollof rice. You want like a marinara sauce consistency. And I'm repeating the same process for the other batch of peppers that I show. And now I have some store-bought chicken broth, and I'm going to add it to the blender to blend the remaining of it. Now in a pot I have that's on medium-high heat, I've added some vegetable oil, quite a lot of oil, because I need to cook out the moisture from the stew because I did not boil it down at the beginning. Apologies for the lighting, guys. So now I'm just waiting for it to heat up, and carefully I'm going to add the blended mixture. The blended mixture has water from the tomatoes as well as the chicken stock, so oil and water is already a dynamic combination, a dynamic duo. So this is going to bubble like hot lava, so you want to be really careful not to burn yourself. If you're a kid watching this, please ask a grown-up for help. I have 3 Maggi cubes, which are quite notorious for being salty, so you don't want to add too much. Some mild curry powder is very important. Use the Caribbean curry powder or the African curry powder, because if you use one of the Asian ones or the ones from Asda, the taste will become quite oriental, more of an Asian cuisine rather than a Nigerian cuisine. I'm going to add some thyme just for aromatic purposes. And I'm going to carefully stir it in. Now after 30 minutes, and I've reduced the heat halfway through the cooking process, as you can see it's still bubbling. A lot of that oil has resurfaced, but there's still more potential for more oil to come out. So I'm going to add the chicken at this point because it's quite reduced. Because when I add the chicken now, more oil is going to come out from the chicken, and I do plan to skim off a lot of the oil, and I don't want it to be like I've skimmed off the oil, I've added chicken, and then more oil has been produced and another effort to do. Sorry for the movement of my camera, guys. I forgot to show you guys, well actually I filmed the process of the chicken when it was cooked at the end, but the files got lost But this is how the chicken looks like. And soft chicken is quite tender as opposed to the typical chicken we use in Nigeria, which is like hen, or I'm not really sure, I just know it's called hard chicken. So you want to be really careful about that. And I'm adding the stock as well. Also, to the end of the cooking process, quite impromptu, I decided to boil some eggs that I didn't want to go to waste, and I'm going to add them to the pot. So if you want to add eggs, by all means go ahead, but if you don't want to add eggs, it is totally fine to omit it from the cooking process. Or if you want to omit the chicken and keep the eggs, by all means go ahead. Now I'm going to carefully stir because we have some soft chicken and I don't want the chicken to break apart in the stew. I want it to be tender, but I still want it to remain on the bone. And I'm stirring the stew because I don't want the eggs to be at the bottom of the pot, because I don't want them to stick, and then in the event that I mix the stew, the eggs break apart and the yolks get everywhere. And speaking from personal experiences, that is not the one or the two. And now this is the finished result. As you can see, so much more of that oil has resurfaced, and now I'm going to skim it off. So all the oil police, you can stop typing your paragraph now about cardiovascular health, because I'm fully aware about that. And now I'm just going to skim it off and add it into a container. When you use the ladle, see, you don't want to dip it in too deep because you get some of the stew in the oil, and then the oil will not last long as it's supposed to do. So I'm going to just go around skimming off the oil carefully. You can discard the oil, which is what I'm going to do, or save it when you're making yam and egg, if you're making some beans, if you're making this stew again in the future, or if you're making any Nigerian breakfast, or even if you want to make some jollof rice. It's a good way to add flavor. You see, you guys, I'm just giving you guys recipes upon recipes. So if you like the sound of those recipes and the flavor as well, please like, comment, and subscribe. And this is the finished result. As you can see, there's so much more oil removed as compared to the previous clips. And I think after I did remove more oil at this point, but I don't know why I didn't get it on camera. But a lot of oil on that corner, I did skim off and remove. And that is the finished result. So now we're going to plate it up. Originally, I was boiling the rice, but the whole process was so ghetto. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, the rice almost burnt. The rice was turning stodgy. It was turning clumpy, but I got it to fix at the end. But I will have to make an updated tutorial for you guys to show you how I actually cook rice. So I've added it to my bowl now. Just plating it up like so. Now I'm going to add the stew. I'm going to add a piece of chicken. Oops. Just plate it up like that. I'm going to add an egg. Just add it over there. Oops, now I rolled off. See, this part was so, yeah, I feel like my presentation skills, I really need to work on it. I was debating cutting out this clip, but I said, you know what, let me just keep it in. And I'm fully aware that this recipe may not be as authentic how the Nigerian stew is typically made, but obviously I'm in the UK and a lot of the authentic ingredients are really hard to find. So many people make things different ways. Some people use the same recipe but different methods. Some people use the same method but different recipes. So I feel like people shouldn't gatekeep recipes. I feel like Nigerian recipes are so diverse, and just because your mom makes it one way doesn't mean everybody who makes it a different way is fake. So I added some eggs on top. I just realized how much this resembles Nigerian chicken stew. It resembles Ghanaian chicken stew actually, but yeah, 1 egg for my Nigerians, 1 egg for my Ghanaians. All love at the end of the day. And I realized that this wasn't in the center, so what did I decide to do? I decided to use a knife. Jesus, the ghetto. So that's the finished result. Please like, comment and subscribe. Click on my post notification bell and comment on this channel. And I love you guys, and goodbye.